Smoking sensei, sipping on some energy, living up, living up,
You're in
living
tune
up,
to the
living up.
Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean.
I need an office space.
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and/or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Greetings to each and every one. How are you all doing? Hoping that you're having a fantabulously fabuloso day. Well, we are here for Reasoning Thursdays. Lady D's gonna step aside for a minute. Queen, the respect and Noni the Jews, they're gonna hold it down and go on and touch all of the reasoning topics. I'll be back on in the 9 o'clock hour. So blessings upon blessings to each and every one. Queen, how you doing? I want to say big shouts first of all to You Choose Radio, our brother station that definitely carry us each and every week right here. I want to say big shouts to DJ VJ Smiles. Smiles had me on his program the other day, Tuesday, and they brought up a topic which I wanted to reason on as well, but I have to step away. So hopefully when I come back, we'll have enough time to reason on that. It was back again with holding men accountable. Queen in the respect to when we had that reason, Noni the Jews, so we had that reasoning on men holding each other accountable for their lifestyles and just things that are not right that they're doing and how they're treating women, how they're treating their family structures. So I wanted to first, because we were supposed to touch back on it and we didn't. So hopefully we'll have time. But if not, then we'll definitely address it next week. But big ups to you, DJ BJ Smiles. Thanks for the opportunity for being on your program on Tuesday. So blessings to you. You Choose Radio. Big up yourself. You all doing up the thing, Ross Dougal. Victorious 89.1 FM. Want to say big shouts to you as well. And remember, you all could read any comments down below because I'm not here to pull it up. So you all do your thing. Noni, big ups to you. How you doing, Noni?
Good to be here tonight. Missed y'all last week, but it's definitely good to be here. Good night to everybody.
All right. Queen, what's going on with you?
I'm good. I'm good. Good night. Good night. It's good to be here again. Remember, share, and press that like button.
All right. I'm loving them earrings though, Queen. Darespecta, what's going on? How you doing?
Thank you.
Just taking it one day at a time as always.
All right. Blessings to you. And I just want to drop a little reminder when you all are not speaking, please mute so that way we don't have any feedback. All right. So I'm leaving the floor to you all. I know that you all have some good topics, especially what's I wanted to even reason on the young man, the autopsy.
Nolan. Yeah.
And the autopsy came back and
Mhm.
it ended up with more questions, and
Yeah.
they sent half of him, you know half of him there and half of him not there. Um, so it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
We can touch on that just a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you all go ahead
Mhm.
and reason. I'm gonna run out and come right back. So I know you all got it all covered. All righty,
Mhm.
blessings upon blessings to each and every one. Thank you all for joining us right here on Reasoning Thursday.
Hey everyone, welcome to Reasoning Thursday again. We have a couple of topics that I think would be interesting to you guys. I don't know if you remember that young lady that was found hanging. Um, that was around Juneteenth time. Now they're saying that it is suicide, but the family members they're not thinking that it is because of her character. She's from Michigan, and they're saying she left Michigan and went all the way to Florida to annihilate herself. It's not heard of. And they said she was a happy-go-lucky individual. She wasn't depressed. She wasn't going through anything out of the ordinary. So they're questioning that and they're still investigating. But as far as the officials are saying, they're ruling it as suicide. What do y'all think about that? Her name was Nicole Miller. Can you
For
guys hear
me,
me?
hold on. For me,
Mhm.
it's definitely something, a lot of that's been going on, number one. So
Yeah.
it definitely needs to be investigated and looked further into. Um, because number one, everything is not adding up. And whenever things aren't adding up, a full investigation definitely needs to be done. And, you know, um, to actually find out what really happened, because I think what's happening a lot of times, a lot of these cases are being lost, falling through the cracks because nobody's bringing awareness to it and keeping it in the forefront. And I think that's something we need to do and to come together as people of color. That's my take on it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't believe what we need to know is gonna come out because they're gonna cover up all the way through. So because it's a majority against the minority, they're gonna bury it. But we know different. We know that the story they're telling is not true. It's not accurate. But unfortunately, it's not much more we can do. Even if we investigate from now to next year, years after, it's gonna take some supernatural powers to bring forth justice. But I do hope that a positive change come and the discoveries. Queen?
Sorry. Like Noni said, this been going on more frequent now than the norm. Because also, they found that young man also hanging here in Georgia. And then that other one now that they found where he went out, Nolan, that he went out on the boat with these folks and end up dying. And no one is not really explaining. And right now, like lady said, the autopsy came back, but it's inconclusive. It's a lot of stuff coming out with that death. And what is showing us, I think, is to let our children, especially the boys, the girls too, because see that young lady, but we have to start letting them understand that you have to be careful of your friends. Yes, segregation is there and what have you, but it's not everybody abiding by it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to educate, if we didn't before, we should start educating our young ones in terms of being, mindful of who they're with and the areas that they're in without someone being there that they can trust, really trust. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
all that is good, but it's you can watch him. I mean, we can't go
yeah.
far. We got jobs to do and all that type of stuff. So all we can do is hope, hope and hope and hope.
Yeah, but hoping we have to do more than hoping. What do you think, Noni? We have to do more than hoping. What I'm trying to figure out, and even when this came up, I was thinking, what can we really, really do to get the authority to really start investigating this? Because that young man Nolan right now, Crump is representing them, and a lot of people are saying that they shouldn't have hired Crump, um, because they're saying he's just there for the fame and not for the changes that needs to occur. And remember, he was also with a lot of those other cases, and the same thing is happening. So evidently, whatever method, this is my opinion, whatever method he is using or whatever he is doing, it is not changing the narrative, and our children still continue to be missing and found and being found hanging or drowning or whatever you.
Remember,
Um,
I mentioned that our black leaders are only going to come forth if it's going to financially benefit them. They're not coming forth to as a support for the parents, for the families, for those who are unalive. They're coming forth for the fame and the money, the power. Look how many leaders, black leaders we have, and all these things still going on. Not just the politician, we're the preachers, we're the teachers, we are the entertainers and the athletes, the motivational speakers. We are they. You and I, we it is only so much we can do and say. The parents, we can't say nothing negative about the parents because we really don't know what the parents are doing and saying. All we can do is give our condolences and hope and pray that changes come. It's a wicked world right now. And government, half of government is not good. Half of the churches are not good. On and on and on. So all we can do is continue, hope that change come, positive changes come by somebody.
mm,
Not gonna just
uh,
take. We're gonna take more people of all colors to come together and say, well, this can hurt us as well somewhere down the line. What if the table turn and all these things that's happening to black people start happening to white people, Spanish people, on and on and on? What if? People don't live life with the what if. They go along with what's going on against one race of people and not thinking that this could be us somewhere down the line. So maybe change is going to come when it takes a whole lot of different races to come together and try to make some noise.
well, we still have to depend on ourselves because right now we really don't have other ethnic group backing us. So therefore, we have to start doing things on our own and doing things to help our children. For example, that bill that is in the House, the Bill 309, where they're trying to, it's more or less like the voting rights. They're trying to tamper with that, changing it and changing certain things in their voting rights. So we have to start speaking up. Like Lady and I always say, you have to vote during not just the primary, but during the local elections. You have to vote, and you have to vote for people who will make a change. So you have to start taking it up on yourself to start previewing and reviewing the candidates, all those folks that decide that they're going to run for whatever office. We need to start really investigating it, and maybe even getting together in groups and voting, deciding who we're going to vote for, because these are serious things, um and it's going to be affecting not just us but the future generations. So we can't just sit back on the respecter and said, "Oh, we're gonna leave it up to this, or we're not gonna do anything because it's not gonna change anything." We can't say that. We have to try everything. There is nothing beat a failure but a try. You have to try and change it. You have to do everything that is in your power to change it. And one of them is being involved. We talk about that lady, talk about that over and over. And I said it even last week. We talked about going to your area, whichever area you're in. Go to those meetings, go to those council meetings, and make a difference. And that's the only way I think our voices will be heard. It's not on those folks, it's on us. We're the one that are lacking. We're the one that are not standing up and being aggressive. You have to be aggressive now, because things have changed. It's not easy like it used to be. So you have to be aggressive and consistent, you know.
Thinking about coming through the phone with some duct tape and duct tape him out.
Yeah, I know, and lady is not here to fix it, so we just have to keep on going. That's why I put mine on mute when I'm not talking. But anyway, it's really sad, it's really sad. All these children, being hanged. This is about what, the fourth one now, that was hung, and not just here in America, but all over, because in Jamaica, they found a little, how old she was, 6 or 8 year old. They found her they slit her throat, and threw her in the bushes. This happened this week. They found her body. She was missing and they found her. So it's not just, here, it's all over. This is happening to our children. And that's our future, the respecter. We have to do more than just sitting back and not doing anything in order to help them.
Who gave you that impression that what we're thinking?
Well, I'm just saying.
Some stuff that I'm not thinking and feeling. And I'm pretty sure that no one out there in their right mind is thinking and feeling. There's only so much we can do. And we keep hearing the same things over and over. We gotta go to everybody should know it by now. And everybody have done that, voted and voted and voted and voted. We have no control over who gets in office. We vote for them, gave them our votes, and they don't do what they're supposed to do. There's nothing more we can do and say.
But you keep trying. You can't give up. You got to keep trying. You have to keep on trying. You can't give up. I mean, if you give up, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? Uh, you know, uh, Things happen. Remember, during the civil rights movement, things was not easy for those folks. Many of them died during that period of time just to get whatever was given to us. You know what I mean? So I mean, the struggle goes on, and like I had said last week again, I think it's from the colleges and the organization on these colleges. For example, the Black Union organizations, the Caribbean organizations, all of those organizations that are on the campuses, they need to start, because they get a certain amount of money each year for student activities. And they need to start doing even some demonstration or whatever. Because when I was in school, that's what we did. We went out on the street, in our area, and we walked, or in the area where the school is, and we walked with our signs and what have you. It don't have to be violent. It can be non-violent. I mean, but maybe that's what we need to start doing again. We have to figure out how we're going to motivate these students, because that's where it is, the motivation, motivating them, to go out and start, demonstrating and trying to do things to change what's happening, because it's going to affect them in the long run.
Things have changed, and this kind of conversation is really there. It's not tasteful for the ears of any one of us. And I'm not trying to be funny or ignorant. We people are feeling the same way we are feeling. We are hurt because of what's going on. There are ton loads of people in and out of buildings every day trying to make noise, trying to make changes, speaking, speaking, speaking. So when we are talking like we are talking right now, it could be offensive to the millions of people who are out there constantly on their phone, out on the street for changes. So people are doing what you're talking about, they're not doing. They're doing it. It just is slow motion due to the fact that we are outnumbered in government. Government do not have the black folks do not have the power in Congress or the Senate or the presidency. We are outnumbered. So there's not much we can say and do and accomplish right now.
You really think so?
Not much we can do right now.
I don't agree with you, the respecter. Um, I understand that where I'm at, or my involvement is not like it should be, but I do get involved, and I do write letters, and I do little things like that. How many of us are doing that? How many of us are writing to our congressman? How many of us are doing those things? We have to really investigate and see the cause and the reason why people are not motivated or getting involved, because there's something going on why they're not getting involved, because they really are not getting involved, and they're thinking, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the same way you're thinking that there won't be any changes. I hear people say that it don't make no sense voting because it's not going to change anything. But then there's a chance that if you vote, it can change things, because it did change some things in the past. That
But
is my opinion.
I'm saying we are not in people's homes, and we're not walking side by side with people every day. We're not laying down and waking up with people every day. So we can't say people are not. We can't say that. It's wrong because people who are actually out there night and day, they're gonna feel away if they're hearing that oh people are
Well, we're
not
not talking about the majority. We're not talking about the minorities. We're talking about the majorities.
don't know that they can't say that either, Queen. To
Why?
make
Why not? That's
make
my opinion. I can state my opinion. That's my opinion. And like I said, if we keep sidestacking and saying, "Oh no, it's not going to change things," I'm not going to even get involved.
that's
That's
not
what a lot of people are saying. The respecter, and we need to put that positive idea in the front, so that people can even hear that positive idea and even try to do some changes. But if we're putting out negative, feelings and what have you, then people are gonna feel that same way. We need to motivate people. That's what we have to do. Radio, all these radio station, radio personality, TikTok folks, everybody, you need to start putting out positive things. Right now, the respect. I don't know if you've noticed. I have seen and heard more positive music being put out there than, say, the past 5 years. So there is some changes, and it's because folks have been speaking on the destruction of those music that was being put out there. That's influencing our children. So there are changes going on, and people do listen when you think they're not listening. They do listen.
And that is all I'm saying to you, Queen. What you just said right now is positive. Those things are happening. So let's keep it right there. We can't be worrying about the one or two that may not be concerned.
But you have to motivate them, my brother. We have to motivate them. And that's the only way we're going to motivate them through our voices. Seeing that you're saying that action, nothing can be done right now in terms of action. Well, put your voice out there, and maybe that will influence other people, because we are all not evil and wicked. People, some people have good mind, good art, and want to do good, and some people are followers and some are leaders. So therefore, if you are a leader and you don't put it out there that I'm the leader and I think this will work, then no one is gonna follow. They're gonna keep looking around and waiting for the person, and that's what's going on. They're waiting for the real leader. But everybody has to contribute in order. Everybody is a leader, really and truly. It's up to you if you want to lead or you want to follow. I'm a leader. And that's how my parents taught us. You're leaders. They used to tell us, you're leaders, you're not followers. And you need to do what is right. And you know what is right because you can feel it. You know when you're doing good, and you know when you're doing bad because you feel it. So therefore, you know, let's motivate them. That's what I say. Let's keep motivating them. Let's keep on motivating them.
Three things:
Hmm.
hope, wish, and pray. Hope, wish, and pray. One of the
Okay, an action. An action.
three may come through.
An action. You gotta act. You gotta act upon what you're thinking.
Saying it
And hopefully it's positive.
out there is action.
Well, the action that I'm exhibiting are the action where I call when I hear something that is not right. I call my congressman, or I call my area, my district, whoever is running the district or in charge of the district, and I let my word be heard. We had an issue at the center that my primary care center that I go to, and we spoke up on it. Yes, everything didn't change, but there was some resolution that was, decided upon, even though these folks were thinking about how much money they're going to spend. That's why they would give us transportation or whatever. But because we started to speak up, the patients, we started to speak up. We started to write letters. We started to call people, even the mayor of Stone Mountain. We started to doing things, and some changes came about. Like I said, everything was not done, but there were some changes, some corrections that was made. But you have to speak out, and that's why I tell even my center folks, the center that I go to, like I tell them, you have to let these folks know, because they're not going to do it unless you start letting them be aware. And that's why these folks, these Caucasian folks, get things done, because they go to these meetings, they call their congressmen, they stand up. It's not just because it's white folks in the top in government. Mm-mm. They speak up. Believe me, I've seen those meetings. Okay. They go to the meetings and they speak up, and they tell their man, you see, if the trash man spill a little trash out there, I guarantee you he won't do it next week. Those are the things that we need to be concerned about. We have to start little. And if we start doing those things and enforcing those things, eventually it will get to the point where our needs are being met. that's my opinion. Like I said, I guess maybe the way I think, but like I said, I've had experience in these things, and this is what I think and feel should be done and needs to be done. But anyway, let's get to something else. How about that $3.8 billion that the US gives to Israel each year? The respecter?
We're warmongers, so so
Yeah.
we're
Oh, you're back,
definitely,
Noni.
yeah, I'm back. Look, we're definitely warmongers. So anything to help support war and things, it seems like, the money is always found somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And at the expense of the citizens. You see what I'm saying?
Every time, but then there's not money to help with different other organizations that's
Oh,
trying to uplift and make things better,
okay.
for the communities that are lacking
Mm-hmm.
with resources. But it's
Yeah.
always money found for warmongering
For
every time.
war. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Um, and maybe that's part of some of our problems too, because they cut all the programs that we used to have for the children. So now it's like you say, what is there for them to do? Unless you have the $100 or the 150 or the $200 for cheerleading or some type of sports, because now you pay for everything, including the uniform. Now these uniforms are like $100.
Yeah, because I have to do the same. And I will tell you something else too. You were speaking about the different things being taken out of the school system. Here
Mm-hmm.
again, home economics,
Yeah.
woodworking, all of these different things. And I'm just wondering why that should be another um something that's brought up to the school
Mm-hmm.
systems that we need to bring back. Why is nobody fighting for that? Because
Yeah.
I think about people that grew up in Jamaica and other countries. They learn that stuff from the get-go. And I was one, I learned it. Depends on where you're living, but it was definitely a necessity because these are life skills
Yeah.
that's needed because everybody's not going to go to a 4-year college for tech.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
may do woodworking, HVAC, plumbing, electrical. There may be somebody who runs their own restaurant. And we took all that out of the schools.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
should be outrage. There
And
should be.
it was a good thing because I remember when I was even junior high. When I was in junior high, I had a home economics, and I had like office where we did shorthand and typing, and that's how I learned to type. You know what I mean? And home economics, we used to experiment with food cooking in the kitchen and what have you. Those were skills because I do remember those skills, and it sort of helped me into adulthood in terms of cooking for my family, trying different dishes for my family, and even nutritional facts. I'd learned that during high school, junior high school and high school, in New York City, because those things were offered then. Now it's all taken out, but we used to have home economic. We used to have woodwork shop. We used to have office skills. All of those things we used to do.
Yeah,
You know,
art, and just
art.
and
Yeah.
oh yeah, I can
Mhm.
remember leaving the classroom, going to somebody who taught art, all different types of art, wall
Yes.
art, chalk art, painting,
Mhm. Mhm.
drawing, you know,
Yeah.
and all these are actual um career
Skills.
fields. And
Mhm.
so why would they take these things out? So another prime example, resources is needed for that, but you can find money to fight wars all the time.
Mhm. That's what I'm talking about. You can spend 3.8 billion for war, you know, and here it's there's so many things that are lacking, especially the children. My focus is on these children because it's a new generation coming in, and if they don't have the tools that they need, then what's going to happen to them? Right now you see them trying to kill off each other.
Exactly. And listen at this, y'all. This is what I thought about
Mhm.
with the Nolan Wells case. This is what I can understand because they're still young. Why were there not any chaperones? I don't get that part.
Okay. 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 There's a lot of stuff coming out pertaining to that because even the young lady, she finally came out, you know, and now she's speaking on the situation. She said she left him. She left him and went on another boat with her family, her parent. And he was heading back to that boat where those young men were. That's what she is saying. So what happened in between there, you know? And you know, the autopsy is inconclusive, but they're saying that there's some type of bruising on the back of his head. Um, that's consistent, could be trauma. You know what I mean?
Like
Um,
I said, that's still the question.
mm,
Why? Like my son, he's in college, but there's chaperones on these
yeah.
trips, senior
Mhm.
trips, college trips.
Yeah.
That's the part I'm not, because when I really listened to it, I was like, okay, no chaperones,
Hmm.
were present and
Yeah.
all for, and they're young.
There's a lot of
They're
You'll
inconsistencies.
be
not in their
surprised.
30s. They're not in their 30s, y'all.
You'll
Mm,
be surprised. When I was in college, even my first year, I had a friend whose parents owned like a penthouse in an area in Florida that everybody, all the college kids went to for spring break. And we had access to all of that with no chaperones. So it's actually really common in that community
That's
because
what
it
I'm
was a
saying. It
lot of
shouldn't be.
college kids. We were all about what, 18, some of us freshly 19 in a whole nother state, and it was a lot of us drinking. There's places that'll allow you to buy alcohol under the table, and we were out there having a ball. Obviously, what we thought was having a ball, but there was no chaperones. There was nobody. I just Some of us just had enough sense to check in, so I was checking in every day. Like making sure my parents were aware of where I was and what I was doing. But I seen a lot. That was my first experience of that, and I was like, oh, they're out here having a time.
mm-hmm.
So do
And
you
these are
understand what
these
I'm
are
saying? Like there should definitely, like my son, he's in college, but you can best believe if he talking about going on some boats or something, I'm gonna like, where the
but
chaperones
look,
at?
we
Who's gonna be there?
but Noni, we talking about these rich, you know what you call it, folks, because this boy was
Exactly.
driving, one of them was driving the boat. He was actually
No,
driving the boat.
I'm talking about the parents of us. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I don't
Mm,
know. I grew up strict. My parents was like, who is that? Whose house you going over?
yeah.
What slumber party? We was, you know,
Chaperone.
we were allowed to do stuff, don't get me wrong, but at the same time my parents will always ask questions because we grew up in schools where it was predominantly white too, because we were what they call bus to these schools. But
Hmm.
anytime there were field trips or anything like that, I'm saying high school stuff and everything, and even college stuff now, I already know there should have been sometime. I mean,
That, but Noni, chaperone is chaperone is high school time, middle school time. These are considered to be young adults that you were supposed to, you had your time to have instilled certain things inside of this individual, that they don't need to be chaperoned. They are young adults. They are 18 years old and above. They're not. this 16-year-old that we're thinking of. They're not this 14-year-old that these are young adults that now they have entered into a space that is considered to be adult.
But what I'm saying is
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
age. That's age. But we're talking, what I'm saying is mentality. If this stuff has been going on for a long time, not just this one incident is all I'm saying. Why wasn't this looked at? Not just this incident, but all of these other field trips and, go haywire and all this
Because
kind of stuff.
because you're talking about college. We're not talking about high schoolers. These are
Exactly.
not high schoolers. These are college young adults that
And then you
should
also,
Angel.
that the parents,
He was
just like
18.
Jai said when she was in school, they went on these trips because they're young adults. They not necessarily had to seek their parents' permission to do that. But what her parents instilled in her is, hey, you need to be checking in wherever you're at. Just like you said, you're strict and you've taught your children certain things. It's not everybody that has brought their child up in that way. And college is not a babysitting. Babysitting is done. You are considered an adult. Some parents, when my children were in college, there was information they will not disclose to me because of the fact that they are now considered adults. So there's no more when you mention chaperone, there's no chaperoning. These are adults. These are adults that they look at the parents and said, hey, you've had 17 to 18 years to instill in your child what you expect them to do when you are not there.
And
And if
how is
your
that
child,
looking? How is that looking?
But
well,
you see,
that's
well, I mean,
but
you
they
get
are
in.
adults. You're 18, you're a legal adult.
True.
Well,
At
y'all can best
18, you
And
believe,
are
then
y'all can best
considered.
time
believe that
spent.
I'm on my son's paperwork. So I can call there and guess what? I can speak on his behalf
But
on
that's the
certain
thing. You
things.
just said it. You're on his paperwork. He gave you authorization
That's
for
what
that.
I'm saying. So I'm just saying we think everything because they turned the age, the number, that as parents we can't step in any way, but yes we do, we can do that.
And I'm
You know
not
what I'm
saying
saying?
that we
I'm not
cannot.
I'm not
I'm not
saying
saying
the
that we.
trips, I'm not saying the trips per se, but
well,
I am
listen, this
but
this young man, wait a minute, this young man, he had both parents, both mommy and daddy, and they were together. Okay. Now, the thing is that he seemed like he was a nice young man and a young man that did the right thing from what are being projected. So evidently there was something that happened, and he must have felt confident enough to be with these people. You know what I mean? Friends, because it's supposed to have been his friends. So we want to know, we need to know, was there somebody in the group who had something against him? Maybe even that young lady he was dating. You know what I mean? You never know, because from what it
And
seems like, from what I'm seeing, there was some type of foul play. So,
And sometimes it's not even like, let's say, somebody having something against them. Sometimes it's about how, what we keep pointing out is how you were raised. I had the luxury of being able to go to a school where there are YT people. And the difference in character and how you carry yourself is extremely different. And one thing I will say is they're going to go to the ends of earth, whether you're wrong or right, to defend theirs. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
we don't know how they were raised, what their upbringings was. I knew kids. Well, I've learned when I was there, these kids used to have hangout spots where they used to get drunk at 15, 14, and 16. So it's like, it's just different. And their parents may have allowed them to do that. They may know that they've done something wrong, but that's their kid. So they're going to defend it how they see fit as well.
Yeah,
And that's what's going on because from what they're saying, one of the parents is a judge and one is a whatever you doctor or whatever you. So they're also covering up. There's a lot of stuff going on with this case that that is real questionable, you know, and until all of that comes out, we just have to speculate, but we just in the meantime, we have to still prepare our children, the adult ones, knowing that if they go out there, you have to be very mindful. Like I tell even my grandbaby, I said, look behind you when you're walking. Don't just walk straight. Look behind you once in a while. Make sure that you're okay and you're safe. So
Hear
we
me?
just have to
The
keep
respecter,
reinforcing this.
the respecter seemed like he wants to say something because he's off mute and we're getting a feed. Go ahead, the respecter.
This was a setup. It was planned, and had he done what Noni is talking about, because there's 9 times out of 10 the parent don't know those friends. Had the parents known those friends, yes, it would have been some trust to say, okay, son, go ahead, be careful. But I can guarantee you the parents did not know those friends. And some kids do not let their parents know what they're doing and who their friends are. But that was a definite plan to get rid of him for whatever reasons. Somebody in the group planned it, and all of them knew about it, including that girl. So this is not a story where oh she didn't know anything. They all knew what the plan was, and he should have never went in a situation like that. And I hope all black boys and girls learn from that. Cannot trust those kind of people to be alone with them in water or mountains.
Water and mountains. Right. And my thing, not so much like the chaperone part, what I wanted to bring up, and that was a good point, respected, was the fact that the more I'm reading about it and learning how remote it was, like the safety and, for your child, period. Like the way they described it, no cell phone, it was just, woo, just the thought of that. I'm sure I would have had to educate myself on this kind of remote place as far as even the safety aspects. The more I read about it, I'm like, wow.
But there was a cell phone. They took the cell phone to the parents after all of that. Because
No,
at first they were
the
looking for
parents
the
used
cell
Life
phone. They
360 and
found it.
located the phone at the friend's house.
It was at the
Yeah, they
friend's
found
house,
the
though, but I
cell
was talking
phone.
about
Yeah.
where the place is. When I read about it, it was saying it was more like a remote, like type of island or place. So,
But there was a lot of people there from what they're saying. Because
yeah,
from what I'm looking at, it was like a whole lot of folks out there celebrating, you know, enjoying themselves on the water. A lot of boats and what have you. From what I was watching on YouTube.
My personal opinion is I had one life experience where I just entered college, um, and I had a Caucasian roommate, and she invited me out with her and some of her friends. And I'll never forget being the only black girl with all these YT people and the eerie feeling that I had. And I played it cool the whole time up until it was time to go. And I've never put myself in a situation like that again. I would never, I don't think I would ever be comfortable being the only one. It would need to be more than one of me, of my kind, you know? Because
Mhm.
after that, after I had one extra friend or two extra friends, the dynamic felt different, you know? And that's just my honest opinion. I would never forget that feeling that I had. We were in a park. That's when I learned about them having little hangouts, how they used to do certain things. And I was like, something's not right here. So I'm just going to
Mhm.
play it cool until I get home.
Yeah. And one of the girls that commented on YouTube, she was saying that she had an experience similar to that, where she said the boyfriend was Caucasian and his sister invited them to a monster truck show. And she said she went there and she was when she looked, she said it's like she was wondering why she's there. And thank God it didn't turn out badly, but she said the feeling that she had gotten being in that area and that situation was really scary and frightening. And she said she would never do that again. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's an eerie feeling. I would
Yeah,
never
that's what
forget
she
that
was
feeling.
saying.
And everybody was
Mhm.
cool. I won't lie and say that they did something to make me uncomfortable. But I believe in following that gut feeling. And it came out
Yeah.
of nowhere. And it was like, something's not right here. And so I played it off like, oh, okay, I think it's time to go. I even hit a I don't feel well to get
Hmm.
back to campus because
Yeah.
something just wasn't right. And I never got back in that truck and I never spoke to her extended friends. Really, I haven't spoken to her since college either. But ever since then, I've been cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
either.
That's what we talk about, being mindful and teaching our children. That's a good thing, Jai. And what I always admire about you, it's like you stand up for yourself and you can say, "Oh, I don't like that." And a lot of our children are not able to do that. They feel pressured and they feel
Yeah,
that this is the way to be noticed,
yeah.
and
But
they end
sometimes
up.
you
And
gotta,
like Lady G said, Lady G was, and I'm bringing up that point that she was saying even about the chaperone. So, if we know our children, like my son commutes because he's like he don't like spend money, so he commutes every day to get some state. He's like, I'm not paying that money for no dorm fees and stuff because he didn't get a scholarship. So, well, anyway, so like Lady D was saying, we really do have to prepare. Okay, I know 18 is considered an adult, and we know, your mentality has a lot to do with it, and like y'all are saying, your upbringing. So, as y'all are saying here in the panel, we do really need to prepare them for this college life. I mean, we can't be 100%, but we can have them to know that everybody that smiles in your face is not your friend. Follow your gut feeling, like John's saying. These are all the different tools that we need to make sure they have when they're entering this new way of life, this new part of themselves that they've never done. So I totally agree that preparation is never lost time, and we really do need to start really talking to our young adults more and guiding them
yeah. And I
as much
also
as we
think,
can.
yeah, I also think because we're not aware of what their world looks like, because like I said, I didn't know until I entered it. um it's very different from ours. When I say very different, and I learned very quickly, they have a lot of access to things that we don't have access to, and I mean as teenagers.
Yeah.
So I agree with instilling a lot of things into your kids. Because I mean, I didn't really have, not to say we didn't have a college talk, but I didn't really, even my brothers, they went to a school with predominantly white. We didn't really have that conversation. But I think it's because of what was instilled in me, why I was able to make certain decisions in a lot of situations, because there was a lot of situations that they'll bring you into that you're uncomfortable, and I was able to read the room and to play the game accordingly. I think that's important as well. Is you got
Yeah.
to know how to play the game accordingly. You can't lash out with everything. You can't freak out with everything. You need to know what you're doing and make a plan in your head to get out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
So
so
I
true,
agree.
John. That's
You got to
good.
instill a lot of certain things in them. Like, hey, if it don't feel right, it's not right. Don't let nobody call you out your house if you already cozy in your bed. It's just certain things I couldn't do that was said to me when I was younger that stuck. And so I
Yeah.
just lived by that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And like you said, John, every college student didn't go into, like my nieces and stuff, they all went to HBCU colleges, so they weren't around stuff like that. So I still talk to them about certain things, but they weren't in those type of environments. And of course my son is not. But I would tell anybody that, goes into those different types of environments to be aware and be watchful.
Yeah. Yeah. especially the ones who stay on campus, you know.
Yes,
For some
exactly.
reason, yeah, they seem to be impacted more because they don't see much adult. They're not around a lot of adult. They're mostly around students of their peers.
Yeah.
So, you know, they don't really get to anyone really to talk to them. And that's what we talked about, these programs. They're spending 3.8 billion on Israel. Put in programs like these, you know, freshmen. Have we used to have freshman conversation. Remember they used to have those? I don't know if you remember, Noni.
Yes.
Well, I'm much older than you, but when I was in college, they had freshman conversation where you would go in, the whole auditorium would be full of the students, and they give you a rundown of everything that needs to be done on campus, what you're supposed to do, what is required, what's not required. They went through the whole process, the whole thing with you. So
Yep.
you were already, you know, brief on what to do and what not to do, and then it was up to you to do it or not to do it. You know what I mean? But at least you was told, you know,
Yeah,
and
because you got
yeah,
to think about it too, between these groups and these sororities and all this kind of stuff,
yeah,
to initiate, I mean, some wild stuff to
yeah,
get initiated into these sororities and stuff, you
yeah.
know, and it's no
Yeah, I could
telling.
tell you, I was vice president of student government. That's all the clubs and sororities on campus. I was in charge of all of them, so I know what they do.
Go ahead on,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah, student government. I was vice president of student government when I was in college. So I
Right.
know these things and know what it takes in order. And like I said, if these college students will stop putting their face in TikTok and all of that stuff and makeup and what's the latest fashion and start focusing and looking at what's going on around them and try to do something to change it, because most of these things were done by college students and they motivate other people in order
Yeah.
to do these things,
Good. Very good.
you know. So but
So what
it's
did you do
really
respect to? What did you do to respect to when you were in college? Was you wild, buck wild?
I was drafted for college through soccer,
Okay.
and
oh,
at the soccer season, I quit.
You quit.
Yeah, because what was promised to me, I didn't get.
Uh-oh.
I was promised a certain amount of money, and I didn't get it. I quit.
You said that's it. I'm
mm.
out of here.
No regrets.
That's it's sad, but you know, it really is. And like I was saying even before we started talking about, you know, what's going on there. We were talking about, you know, the kids and what they need and what we as adults need to be doing for them. Yes, we say 18 and 19-year-old are adults, but we still, some of them are still lost and they don't know which way to go because they didn't have the support system in the household or in the schools that they needed in order to guide them and to steer them in the direction that they needs to walk. You know, we was a little bit luckier because in our days or in my days, we had a neighborhood watch. We had neighbors that looked out for you and what have you. And some of us was rude, but most of us was real respectful. And if you was an elder, we respected you, where certain things we wouldn't say. And because of the disrespect with the young folks now, a lot of folks don't even want to get involved, you know? And it's sad, but what can we do? Lonely, I'm just really disappointed in the system and what is being offered to our children. We're already old. We're getting there. You know what I mean? We're almost there. But the young ones coming up, I'm concerned. I'm really concerned about them.
Queen,
Yeah.
do y'all think it would be a different ball game
Hmm.
if the father knew what was going on and assisted his son to make sure everybody involved see that father knows who he's with. Also, if a parent realizes the situation and know that their son can't swim, and says, son, no, tough love. We can't let you go out in the ocean and you can't swim.
I don't
Changes.
know. It seemed like he and his father had a good relationship, from what the dad was saying.
And the father know the kids do well.
Oh, you talking about did he really
Nolan.
know those boys that he was going with?
I'm going back to Noni. Maybe the father didn't know his friends. The mother didn't know.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
You've been keeping track of what's going on, because I don't know, they seem like they're friendly with them. Even the mom saying all the boys in both the junior high school and the high school, she was inviting all them to the funeral and what have you.
I don't mean nothing. I believe one of you said it was some could be jealousy. One of the person in the group was
Mhm.
initiated to get the other along with the plan. So we never know. Possibilities.
Mhm.
I wouldn't let none of my children go to the ocean, knowing they can't swim, with black or white people, no matter who. They're not going in the ocean on nobody's boat, and they can't swim.
But they're adults. The respecter, they in college.
That's what lady was
They
pointing
in
out.
college. So
They're
what you
adults.
gonna do? What you gonna do?
Hey,
Yeah.
but remember, the adults still live with you, the parent. They
Okay.
No, but he's not living, he's on campus.
still gotta let the parents know.
For example, I know this young man, right, that went to college, and he got caught up in a lot of craziness. He came from a wonderful family, and he's a good guy, but he ended up meeting the wrong people and end up falling in the situation he's in. We don't know the kids. We don't know. They don't know. And sometimes even if you tell them, because of the idea that they want to fit in, they want you to respect them and look at them. Then they end up falling into these traps because they want to be identified and being looked at, seen. That's the word they're using now. I want to be seen. I mean, you know
A lot of reason it could have been avoided.
I don't know. The dad said he was very close with him, and that was his pride and joy. He was gonna be on the in the he was a what, football player, and he was gonna be in the league and all of that stuff. And he said the father was there crying on the TV, and he seemed like they were really really close. So it didn't seem like he was lacking um both parents was in his life. So I don't know, the mama seemed very soft and soft spoken and what have you. But
So where do you?
they seem like professional people. She was a nurse, right? The mom, she
Yeah.
a
So
nurse.
listen.
Mm,
So I see what you're saying. So even the respecter, like, well, I got a question for everybody.
okay.
Being that your child is considered an adult and in college, an incident that happened, a couple of months ago,
Mhm,
here, well, in Lithonia, where the girl was shot by the boyfriend. Well, both parents knew that she was having issues with this guy. So, but I think she was 18 or 19 or something like that. So where do we draw the line? We don't get involved, and stuff like that, because now they're really in pain because they knew
mhm.
that man that was no good for her,
Yeah.
and now she's been unalived. So I don't know. Something to think about.
And it said, what can we do as parents when they get, to a certain age?
Well, not because someone is considered an adult means that you cannot. get involved. You can get involved. You're going to speak up for your child unless your child don't want you to be involved. And say, Mom, mind your business, or Mom, let me handle it, Dad, let me handle it. But that's going to always be your child. And they could be 50 years old. You still going to be in their business. You still
Mm-hmm.
going to want to make sure that the best is happening for them, and that they're not being harmed, and that all of their dreams and all of those things is fulfilling. If you can contribute in any type of way, you will. But
Mm-hmm.
it's always just up to the child, if they're to the young adult, if they're gonna want you in their business, if they're gonna consent for you to sign off on certain things. Even them at 18 has to have a proxy, what you call it, durable medical advance, because you still can't. The doctor and all of them still not going to give you any information because they're still adults. But yeah, Noni, you will always be a parent, no matter what. You're going to always be a parent, and but it's just that we just got to know. Yeah, we see danger. It's just like when we were younger. My mom would say, "Hey, don't go over there, or don't do this, or I don't think that guy is right for you, or da 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 da." But yet,
Mm-hmm.
you're still going to do what you want to do,
It's true.
And that parent, all we can do as parents is voice our opinion. We could bitch, we could carry on, we could, I tell you, leave that guy, da, da, da. But when it all comes down to it, it's that individual's choice. And if you were to even call the cops is going to tell you that they're an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're an
So
Yeah.
adult
true.
unless they're deemed to be mentally ill or some form of way, and you go in there and try to get guardianship of an individual, but from they got their own mind, nah, you just got to be there.
All of us know, except a child, we will get will cuss
Say
us.
that again.
And we all know that some kids will cuss you. They will let you know, get the F out my business.
Yeah, that
Well,
happens a lot.
and that's how we talk, and that's how we talk about respect. That child respecting you. If the child does not respect the parent, then yes, they're gonna give them that word that get the out of my business. But if you raise your child, I think in the right way, then even if they're gonna do it, they're not gonna be upfront to you and tell you that.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not going to be rude where they're using
Rude. Yeah.
vulgar language to you. But it's still all the same. Is that, Mom? I'm an adult now, and
Yeah.
I want to make
Yeah.
my own decisions. Look at this. Did you look? I don't want to try to sway away, but this is a 13-year-old girl that that I don't know if you all saw that news, that brought a guy into the house,
In the house,
and
yeah, and the mom,
the
yeah,
mom heard, and
mom
the mom
too,
ended
shot
up
him.
shooting him.
Yeah,
And even though the mom is now in jail, she's on social media saying "F the mom,"
yeah, I
and the
saw
mom
that.
is looking out. It's alleged that she said that, and the mom is looking out for her. And now she's in jail because she killed an
Yeah,
individual. Although I don't think that it should have went to that extreme, but where she ended up having to unalive the individual.
yeah,
But that's left for another show. You know what
yeah,
I
it
mean?
is because
That's left for
from what I
another
heard,
show.
he was
It's
walking
something
away.
very,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
something very. That's something that
yeah,
I think that we need to reason on. But
yeah,
yeah, it's as parents, we always have our children best. We look out for the best for our children, even
yeah,
though they don't see it. And all we can do, and I encourage every parent, no matter how much your children tells you, leave me alone, get out my business, that's your duty as a parent.
yeah,
Continue to be in their business, you know, and then maybe one day they're gonna come to you and say, Mom, what you said was right. I shouldn't have
yeah,
this,
yeah.
this.
I've seen it. I've seen it. My boys are in their 40s, And even now, I still interfere. I'm sorry, but I do. I still interfere in their relationships and their life and whatever. I try not to go too far, but we talk, and I might give them my opinion on certain things, and it's up to them to listen or not to listen because I think I raised them in the right way. And they never disrespected me. And even if they don't do what I say, they still listen. And I've had the older one come to me and say, Ma, you was right. So sometimes you'll be surprised. They do accept sometimes what you say, or later on they look at it or remember it and end up doing the right thing.
Love you. Yeah.
Mhm. But this is a good topic, and I mean, really and truly, this young man, from what they're saying, and I heard one of the boys said, "Oh, he didn't deserve it," and they're saying, "Why would he say that? Why would he say he didn't deserve this?" It's like they're saying he knew something or knows something. Why he's saying he didn't deserve this? So it's a lot of controversy, a lot of stuff being said. And I think I sent you guys two different clips on this situation, including the what they found on the autopsy. Um, and there's so much speculation and so much things are being said about this young man, and what happened is annihilation, and what
Queen,
happened. Mhm.
Queen, the respecter wants to say something.
Go on the respect. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Oh, that's okay. I just when I hear the thing, I know he took his
He's
phone
trying
off.
to get him. Go on, hon.
I thought I was gonna move on by now.
Oh, we could have kept him mute for that. All right. But anyway, we saw. Let me mute that.
But no need, like we've been saying, it is what you teach your children to, how they respond when they go out there. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we go to
So
Jamaica? Lady D,
Yes.
can we go to Jamaica?
Excuse me.
Can we do one of your favorite? What's going on in Jamaica? You need a permit to plant your food on your own property in Jamaica. Have you heard that?
What?
no, I didn't hear that one. That's new.
Prime Minister, they're passing a law you cannot plant anything on your property without permit.
That's crazy. That's stupid.
The whole country is up in a
I have to research that. I didn't hear that one.
out there. But it's
Mm.
hard. Because they're saying the people in country, they don't have no money. They got a plan to eat. So where they gonna get money to pay taxes and permit? And they're showing people that have lots of food planted and the government wanna take it away. It's serious.
I haven't heard anything like that because from what I've been watching, I watch YouTube every day, and I watch Jamaica every day, and everybody planting. Just as a matter of fact, they're encouraging people to plant. So I don't know. I haven't heard that one. The respecter. You never know. These people are so corrupt. It's all about money and making the money. Anyway, they can.
He wants to
But that's
punish
gonna take some enforcement. How are they gonna do that?
he wants to punish the PNP for not voting for him. And he's not realizing the labor rights are getting punished as well.
Mm.
Just like what's going on in this country. If you didn't vote for certain people, they try to punish you.
That what you said there. I have to research that. I haven't heard anything like that, and that does not sound. That
You
don't
can,
sound right because what I'm saying is, come on now, how you gonna mandate who plants what or who? Jamaica have acres and acres of land that people plant their food on. How they gonna do that? How are the government is gonna monitor that?
it's out
They
there.
already don't have enough workers, governmental workers. How they gonna do that? I don't know. I don't know. Mm,
Not
that
all
that don't sound.
nurses, they're walking out the jobs because the hospitals are overloaded with patients. So now the patients are dying because there's no nurses.
But what that have to do with the food? The respect I don't understand with them planting their food and
Jamaica. The things that's going on in Jamaica, the food and makeup.
um.
Not just this
You
country.
heard anything about that, Noni or Jai?
What was
I
that
didn't
for?
really hear him completely.
What? Yeah, I
Sorry.
didn't either.
No, he said that they're putting restriction on you growing your food. You have to get
Oh yeah, I
permit.
did hear that. Not my Jamaica. What? Mm.
Yeah, that's
I think that's
strange.
stupid, but like I said, he's talking about developing the country and thinking big, but I also think, like I said, it's going to end up just like over here with restrictions with everything.
Right. And especially growing food, something that's
Yeah,
natural.
I can't understand. I can't see that. You know.
Mm-mm.
I hear them encouraging people to grow food. Even the minister of agriculture, he had some sessions, some different sessions in different parishes, showing them how to plant and how to grow and how to develop. So I can't understand why this would come up now, and that was just a couple of
Controlling
months
the
ago.
people, controlling the food like they doing here. Feed me, government, and who and the different powers that be. Because this is your land, you should be able to grow your food.
Yeah, I, that's puzzling to me. Um, That's real puzzling. I've never heard that. And I would like to hear more about that. Um, Especially with most people, a lot of people moving back to Jamaica right now, and those are some of the things that they plan on doing. You know, building their houses and planting. You know, farming. So a lot of folks that I know went back down there that are their intention. I even know this guy, he bought his own irrigation system down there when he was moving down, just so that he can do, and that was it, planting, farming. So mm, I don't know. Let's investigate that some more, the respecter.
So there's on all the major news.
Mm?
On all the major news.
Yeah, I have to look into it. I didn't hear it. To be honest with you, I didn't hear that. That's something new and enlightening for me. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other topics that you guys want to discuss? We did a lot on Nolan and I know Lady D wanted to talk about the young man. You remember a continuation from last week? We have about 20 more minutes. You want us to talk some more about that? Even though we was touching part of it a while ago on the young men and talking to them and them listening and what have you. um y'all want to touch that lifestyle of young men and
Go ahead.
what has been happening. Lady said we were supposed to have done a continuation of it.
Go ahead.
um, like we were just saying, it's hard nowadays to tell young people what to do and what not to do. But these young men some of them need to do better than they're doing. These children are lacking their father. They're not functioning correctly because they don't have a male in the family. I think these men need to be more responsible, um, in terms of taking care of their offsprings. Whether you're with the woman or not. Um, these are some crazy lifestyle, and sometimes I wonder if that is contributing to prostate cancer, because they said, it's, part of it is when you. Mm, anyway, anyone want to touch on that lifestyle of these young men, and being held accountable?
Back. Really,
Well,
what I was
Mhm.
speaking on, anyway, it was based off our last conversation as to men in general.
Mhm.
Speaking to another man, and I'm chipping in and out, but um, men in general, just like how, oh, go ahead and sleep with this one, go ahead and sleep with this one. Even taking care of their children. I'm talking about stuff like that, where I feel like men needs to sit down. See, like how we have a reasoning, where we're reasoning here. I think some men need to come together and sit down and have a reasoning session. A truth. Okay. Go ahead, Queen. Y'all talk a minute.
Queen, go ahead.
you're on mute, Queen.
Also, I'm sorry. It's true though. I have a program that I go to, and it's called. We have two different. We have the women round table, and we have the men round table. And the round table is where you come together and you talk about different issues and what have you, that are maybe facing you, and not just you, but men in general and women in general. Now, us women, we're not included in the men round table, but the things that they discuss, and like Lady said, maybe we need to have these talks, these men round table, and invite these men can invite some of these young men, and they can sit down and powwow. I mean, it doesn't have to be the father. It can be men from a community or what have you. And maybe once a week they can have a round table. You remember we talked about doing things instead of just talking. Action. And that's one the action. Maybe the respecter. You can get some men together or something and do a thing called a round table, and you try and get some, even the women, the friends, see if their children would be willing to get involved in it, and you guys meet like maybe once a week and have a round table. You know what I mean? Those things are important, and those are the things we need to look into, instead of, like you said, just talking, talking, talking. We need to do. And that's one of the things. I can do it with some sisters. I can get some sisters together and we do it with some of the young ladies. But most of the, I think, issues now are the men. I see the girls going forward. I see them getting a career. I see them getting their homes together. But the men, they're still lacking. They're still slow in the background. So
I
we
think
Hey,
need something
Queen,
to motivate them. Yeah.
Queen.
I think men are.
My
Yes,
phone is
sir.
getting my phone is getting hot, so I just had to take off the take off the camera.
Yeah,
But
men.
can I say this real quick?
Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, from my heart, I meant to call
Mhm.
Lady D today
Yeah.
because for a few days now, it hits
Mhm.
me when we last talked about this, and she was really animated in saying why men won't be accountable for men, or why man is supporting man against the woman being abused, in something within that line, and we kind of misunderstood each other. I reacted one way, she reacted one way, but it came to me honestly that the man is the problem because many times the woman is going about her business and the man is coming into the woman's face, having his woman at home in most cases. And it hits me that what Lady D was saying, that I kind of took defense to, men are the problems. A man wants every woman he sees, and he lie like nobody's business. And it hits me hard where I feel so bad for women because a woman, she can't know and she won't know unless she stand firm and say, let me see your license. Let me see, where do you work? I need to know this about you, need this to know about you before I even give you a chance. It's unfortunate, but that's what it's gonna boil down to. I'm sick to the point where it really hurts me, ladies, to see how many women gave man an opportunity because he speaks so kindly of her and lied about not having nobody, no family, on and on and on. Broke like a church mouse, turn around begging the woman for money, and so on and so forth. So we do need these discussion, and I will get with my friends and see if it's possible.
Yeah, round table, and once it start and you start spreading, you start talking about it, other people will join in, you know.
So I apologize to you, Lady D.
Thank you, and I applaud you for that. I applaud you for being
Mhm.
a man,
Yeah.
because if a lot of men really sit down and think about it, this is what also leads to the same thing that you're advocating for, the respecter, men being in the home. How can men be in the home when they're laying a seed here and laying the seed
Everywhere.
there and
Mhm. Mhm.
leaves the home fatherless?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when men, I feel, come together and sit down and reason on these things and say and talk to each other and really let them know that, yo, this is really not acceptable. Starting
Mhm.
youths, and stop cheering on. Men
Yes.
cheering on. So, may have 5 pitney over here, so
Mhm.
5 kids
Mhm.
you're not even taking care of. And do you take into consideration that that home is left fatherless?
And they don't care about
And they
feelings.
don't care, nothing more than they get the slap. And if someone end up a breed, I just saw, you know it's and even if for the ones whom have the 5 baby moms, and they're trying to be a part of their child life, you still cannot be this 100% dad in that home, because you are one person and you have to be divided into 5 different homes. So you're still not fully there in that child's life. You know what I'm saying? And I
Hmm.
think I
Mhm.
received the text stating that, Lady D, you should apply that to women. I applied that to women in some ways, but not in the way that I applied it to men. You know, um, and my gripe with women, that if I was to sit down and have a forum with women, I would deal with women as to the bitterness, that they have after they leave relationships,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
the divide that they cause with their baby fathers, with their child. Some women use
Use it.
child
Mhm.
as weapons
Yes.
back
Yeah.
so when all of us in our genders, male and female, start sitting down with one another and really reasoning and take accountability and let a woman know that, listen, when it's all said and done, it's the child that you're hurting. Because I see it where children be like, I want to go see my dad. No, I'm not allowing you. No,
Mm-hmm.
we have to, unless it's a matter of safety
Mm-hmm.
and there and depth, that father or that mother causing some type of mental harm to that child, then I don't see why women, some women, let's get that clear because it's not all women, some women feel as if they should use the child as a weapon. That's something that we as women need to have that dialogue, sit down and really talk about the impact that it makes in the home, the impact that it makes on the child, you know, the, for the child's even future. Another is, let's say it's your daughter, and your daughter see that's the way that you're operating. They grow up and they may operate in that same capacity. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Mm-hmm.
is the men sit down and really, really talk and reason. You know, I know a brethren of mine, and his son has how many children? So his son now and him is tie and tie. Tie on how many kids? And he came to a function where I was, and I say, yeah, you see the boy, him a go on like him bigger than me. Him don't know say all me have to do is go grab a young girl and breed that, and then me go and one up on him. And I looked at him,
Mm-hmm.
a grown man like you talking like that. What are you teaching? Instead of you sit down with your son and say, son, don't follow my footstep, because that's not the right way to go, because I couldn't even be that instrumental in your life because I had to be here, there, and everywhere. You're talking about wanting up your kid at that big grown age of yours. So these are the things when I'm reasoning and I'm saying that men are to sit down with men and make each other accountable for their
Mm-hmm.
actions and let them know that, because for me saying it to him is like I'm a bitter person. Why yeah, try stop my floor and da 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 da. No, but
You
maybe
don't
a group,
associate them.
yeah,
You
maybe
don't
if it's a group of
associate
men.
them like that.
Go ahead, the respecter.
You don't even need to associate yourself with people like that. Because what I sit and think about, if I go to the baby mother's house to see my son, my daughter, children, and I'm a good man, I'm honest, and I see the pain and cost that woman, it is my job, my duty to say to the child, to the children, look, I messed up. It's not your mother's fault. It's my fault. Listen to your mother. Do this, be this, on and on. I'm gonna be there for you. But do not disrespect mommy and blame mommy for anything. I'm the mistake. I'm the fault. That
But
could change
but
and but
hear this to the respecter. I commend you for that. But this is why I'm just raw at certain things, is because sometimes it is some women fault.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some women, to how they operate and talk and deal with a man. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have some good man out there. You have some good committed family man out there. And they
Mm-hmm.
have some women that is non-deserving of some of these men. So yes, in some cases, yes, I can look at me youth and say, why, if me, I should have did this, or I could have done this a little bit different and made the situation a little better. Yeah, and you can do the same. But we take fault to where the fault is actually. not just to appease and say, but definitely you're going to say, don't disrespect your mama, because those are what we want to instill in our children.
Mm-hmm.
Respect, period. Period. Respect. As well as a mother should show the same and say, don't disrespect your dad. And that too, as adults, we need to know that there's a place and a time for everything. The way we cussing and carrying on with ex man or with no man or whatever in front of the children, them, I didn't even know when my parents were arguing.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And now we
That's
sitting
it.
here on telephones with our girlfriends, our sisters, and a degrade up the man and them things.
Yeah.
And then we
Mm-hmm.
wonder why our children may grow and don't respect that man. And you understand, even though they have their faults and they're doing every, there's a
Mm-hmm.
place and time for everything.
Would you ladies would you ladies agree with me that the lady deeds talking about should only be blamed if they are already married and or have a man and listen to another man in their face trying to get them away from that man?
But no one should be able to get anyone away if it's a good relationship. If it's a good
No, no,
relationship,
no.
then no
It's a
one
good
should give.
relationship. Still gonna happen.
No, 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 listen.
Not if it's a good relationship. No man can pull
Yep.
you away like that if
No.
it's a good relationship.
If they're pulled away, it's because they didn't want to be there.
Yeah, something was wrong in the relationship.
There is so yeah, and you need to address what the situation was
Yeah,
that was in the relationship. You see,
yeah,
you got to address what the situation was in the relationship. What and maybe you two as adults need to sit down and reason. You
yeah.
understand? The two
And compromise. You have to compromise because you coming with your issues, she's coming with her issues. Y'all are new to this relationship. So you have to talk about these things, what your expectations are. You have to be really intentional. You have to be intentional in what you want, what your expectations are in the relationship. All of that stuff you need to put out there
mama,
before you tangle yourself up. Yes, us women, a lot of us make mistakes. I know I did a lot of times in my life. We make mistakes, but we make mistakes with our heart because we have that love within our heart, and it's easier for a woman to love than a man. You know what I mean? But at the same time, respect is the key. You have to respect me in terms of listening to what I have to say, and I'm gonna be intentional in my letting you know how I feel and what my expectations are in that relationship. And
listen,
that's what we need to instill in these young folks. Be intentional. Let that individual and don't jump because he might look good, he might be good looking, or he might have a few dollars in his pocket.
Queen,
Yes, ma'am.
bottom line as to what the respecter was saying for me,
Mm-hmm.
okay, is in a relationship, we are so afraid to be 100% honest
Yeah.
because we are
Yeah.
so afraid of the next person's reaction. We are afraid of the next person's feelings. I'm under a philosophy that it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah. That's it.
So
True.
I think that everyone can be blatantly honest with the next one from you use your word tactfully
Yeah.
when when
True.
when you're speaking. If I'm not happy with you, I'm going to say, babes or honey or John or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
listen, I'm unhappy. This relationship is not working. It has nothing, if you want to believe that it has something to do with another man, then you go on and you believe that. I'm not happy. We don't do anything. I'm not happy. You don't sexually satisfy me. You don't stimulate me. You don't
Spend time with me,
don't
quality.
you don't
Yeah.
you don't feed my brain. You don't,
Mm.
there's nothing there. But sometimes people are so afraid to be blatantly honest with another individual about their feeling. I don't like the way you dress. I don't want to sleep in the same room with you. I can't take you snoring. Some people are just afraid to be blatantly honest that they find things to or they keep it down. Me just not happy. Me specify why you're not happy, because if you're not happy, you should know why
Yeah.
you're unhappy. You should
Mm.
know why you no longer want to be in a relationship. You said something that I felt disrespected. Be honest. Just come out blatantly, and then we're afraid to be honest because of the fact that right now, just yesterday, another guy unalived his girlfriend that don't want to be with him.
Yeah.
So
We're afraid,
a woman
scared.
is also afraid to speak
Mm.
up and be blatantly honest because they don't know a one's reaction, especially if they're even in the household with that one.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Those are true, lady. It's
It's just,
and it's sad, but it's reality. Yeah.
yeah, it's just all
Yeah.
about being honest.
Mhm.
Whether you're married, whether you're in a exclusive relationship, whether you're dating, you know, whatever it may be, whatever it may be, then I mean, the key to it all is to be blatantly honest.
And I'm being
Mhm.
honest by saying this. Why is Noni and Jai so quiet?
Jai is not on, but Noni is
I
absorbed.
am, and I'm listening very well. I'm gonna let everybody else get their stuff right on now, because I'm coming. Okay. So Lady D, I'm gonna agree with you because I hear that you brought up the point when the respecter came out and said, the what he felt about us, the empathy that he felt.
Yeah,
But Lady D, you are so correct, because there are men out here that want to be a father, a real father to their children. But between, the, I don't like to say it like this, the baby mama that's not allowing it because they're not together for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
So that's number one. So she's just gonna hold that child and dangle that child in front of the man's face, knowing that he loved that child, he wants to be in that child's life. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes as far, okay, she's gonna go to the court. And who's the court most of the time gonna side with? They're gonna side with the woman. She don't even have to be wrapped too tight.
yeah,
But most of the
Yeah.
time, she's gonna get custody. And where's that man left? And what does that do to him? Number one, the trust is gone. They're never gonna trust justice and what the courts were supposed to do to make sure that he was present.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
court will never
Yeah.
stand up for especially our black men, and
Mm-hmm.
allow them to be in that child's life, just like it was back in the day when they took the man out and with all the government programs. But we do need to start taking accountability. Women need to do that, because even when I wasn't with my children's father, I was like, you want to come and get them? Come on.
yeah,
I'll drop them
Mm-hmm.
off. Bags will pack
Yeah.
3 days ahead of time. I would definitely never withhold that. But women are so vindictive now, just because they're not with that man. You're doing you're doing harm to me. You're literally doing harm to that child
yeah,
when you don't allow that father to be in his or her life.
yeah,
And a lot of times when that happens, The child is very confused because sometimes, she's putting stuff in their head. But then
Mm-hmm.
also the child is confused, thinking, Daddy don't want me, Daddy don't love me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all that's
Yeah.
going on with that child. So
Yes.
the accountability needs to be definitely put on these
Yeah.
women more so because they have control a lot of times, to be
That,
Mhm.
honest.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
I've watched the situation, and then we have to wrap. Man, we got to continue this.
Mhm.
I watched a situation where I know a young man who loved his children. He would do anything for his children. Okay. But because he won't succumb to some of the things that the mom wants, that
Mhm.
he feels that is unreasonable, she didn't allow him to see the kids, which she knows, and she said, oh, I know he would not hurt him, so why would you do that? Why
Mhm.
would you stop these children from interacting with their dad? Not only that, but I don't know how many of you all know that in the state of Georgia, fathers don't have a right.
Mhm.
They don't have a right unless they go to court and get something called a legitimation. You're not even recognized as a
Mhm.
father to
Mhm.
make decisions in your child's life. Any men that have a kid here in Georgia, if you are not married to that woman, you have no rights to your own child. You have to go to court and get something called a legitimation in order to be recognized as a father. You ever heard no crap like that?
Yeah, and the thing is that these court, they're not even directing you in the path that you need to walk, because I know an individual that the same thing was going on, because evidently that young lady wanted X amount of money each week, and he was unable to do that, so he went to court to try and put himself on child support, and the court wouldn't do that. They say she have to sign the paper in order for him to do that. Now,
We gotta cut. We gotta continue this reason. This
it's a, it's so much, yeah.
this next week. It is 9:59. We got to get off the air, even though we started a little bit late, but we have to get off the air. Man, I'm telling you, this is some serious reasoning right
Yeah,
here. And
yeah.
it's something for each and every the men out there to even research that has children here in Georgia.
Mhm.
It's not all the states that does it, but Georgia do. But once again, I want to send big, massive shouts go out to You Choose Radio and DJ VJ Smiles, Ross Dougal. Ross Dougal, you doing some big and great things. DJ VJ Smiles, you as well. Blessings to both of you. Continue prosperity in your radio station and all your endeavors. I want to say big shout to Victorious 89.1 FM. Massive shouts go out to you as well, Dr. J. Blessings upon blessings to you, and I wish you all the best as well in your endeavors. Check us out this Saturday, Lady D Show. We'll be putting on a rerun. We're doing some family things, having a big family reunion, families coming in from all over the globe here. So we're going to have a fantabulous time of just getting together and celebrating our ancestors and our unity. And, all about love once again as well. We're going to do a redo. And next week we'll be back with regular scheduled programming. I just want to thank you all for continued support. And I'm just asking you all to share, like up the live, all of these things for us, okay? Please and thank you. Queen,
Yeah, again, like I said, men, put it out there. Let's see if we can get a round table set up with some of these older men, with these younger men. It's very important. And the more we talk about it, it's the more I'm seeing that maybe that is one of the solution to what's going on. Get your friends together and y'all put a group together. I love you guys. Keep sharing, keep pressing that like button, and keep on doing what you're doing.
All right, Noni the juice.
Oh, definitely a good show tonight. Queen, that is definitely a good idea for you know, the elders to get with the young men, but definitely for the
Mm-hmm.
women, older women, the more mature women, to
Yeah.
get with these mothers, because there are
Mm-hmm.
some very good fathers out here who want to be a part of their child's life. So the accountability part really needs to be looked at
Yeah.
and and encouraged. So again, it was a great show. Thank everybody for coming out. Keep listening, keep sharing on all the platforms. Good night.
Right.
Good night.
Darespecta.
Everything is gonna be all right. Everything is gonna be all right.
All right. All
Mhm.
right. Blessings upon blessings. Good night, everyone. Be good to one another. All right. And love. Love is the key.
In love, peace and love. Good night. Love
Arrivederci.
y'all.
Love you guys. See you next week.
See you next week.